In 2024, I added 16 basketball video games to my collection across 9 different systems. And in this video, we're going to talk about how I got them, how much I paid for them, any kind of notes or backstories I have on each game purchase, and just tell you a little bit about what I added to the collection in 2024. Now, before we get started, I've been collecting basketball video games for many, many years now, well into the triple digits as far as the size of the collection. And I thought it'd be a fun video to kind of do a wrap up of 2024 and all the games that I have added to the collection this year. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first game added to the collection way back in January 21st, 2024. This was an eBay purchase. Oh, yeah. NBA Jam on the Sega Genesis. This is a very clean, complete copy. Look at that, mint condition. And I know what you're thinking. How are you a basketball video game channel, collect basketball video games for years, and not have NBA Jam in your collection? Well, I do have it in my collection. I have it, though, as a cart-only version, both on the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. And last year in 2023 for Christmas, my younger brother, this was the gift he wanted. He wanted a copy of NBA Jam on the Sega Genesis to go back and relive those times of us playing the game as kids. And when I bought him and found him a very clean copy from my local game store, I was like, I have to get a complete copy and add it to my collection. And I was able to find this shortly afterwards in January for a total of $13.70. Very happy to now have this copy of NBA Jam in the collection. Shortly after that purchase on January 24th, 2024, pick up for the Super Nintendo through an online website called Lukey Games. Big fan of Lukey Games. Have purchased many, many games over the years, not just basketball games, all sorts of games from them. But went ahead and added Rap Jam Volume 1 to the collection. This is a game that had a good concept. It is basically street ball basketball, think NBA Jam, but with rappers from the 90s. Some of the characters I remember being in there is Warren G, LL Cool J, Coolio's in there, Queen Latifah, a couple other ones as well. And this is the only version that came out is on the Super Nintendo, and overall in good condition. Just got a little bit of a sticker from Lukey Games on the back that I got to do a better job of ripping off. But I actually had this game prior, and the reason why I picked it up is because the version I had prior had a pretty crappy label on it. So when I saw this pretty clean for only $3.97 on Lukey Games, I went ahead and picked it up. And Volume 1, Rap Jam. Too bad we didn't get a Volume 2. Next up, another purchase from Lukey Games in the actual same order, January 24th, 2024. Scooped this up for $4.97, a complete in-box copy of Ultimate Hoops Challenge on the Nintendo Wii. This is a game I haven't played before and kind of forgot that it even existed until I was just browsing through the website and just trying to see what's out there for cheap, and came across this. And it's a complete in copy. It's got a lot of mini games on it. I haven't spent a ton of time with it yet. You know, basketball games on the Wii, they can be a little bit tricky. This is motion controls only, but still looking forward to spending some more time with this in the future and adding it to the collection. Next up, still from Lukey Games, same order for $1.24. A complete in-box copy of arguably the best basketball game of this era, NBA 2K11. Another one you're probably saying, how do you not have that already? I've had it for many, many years on the PS3. I was a big PlayStation gamer. Didn't get an Xbox 360 till, only like 5 years ago or so now. And just trying to build up the library on that side. And, you know, for the collectors out there, basketball games on the 360, very, very cheap, very, very easy to come by. And when I saw this for less than $2, that's all day. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to pick that up. Nice clean copy here. Amazing game. And again, building out that 360 collection. Still from the same order from Lukey Games. This was a good start to the year, this order. Something for the Sony PSP. The PSP actually, believe it or not, had, like 12, 13, 14 basketball video games on it. I don't think people realize how many basketball games are out on the system. Now, this one isn't one of the best ones, but again, got to add it to the collection when I see it for cheap. I'm a sucker for cheap basketball games, especially complete in box and in great condition. We have NBA Live 07 T-Mac Rockets cover, complete in box. Very good condition. Not the best game on the PSP, but hey, PSP was a great system back in the day. Basketball video game on the go. It was a fun time back then and a good one to add to the collection. The final game from the January Lukey Games order is an original Xbox game. This is a game I haven't owned prior to this. And I'm glad I finally was able to add it to the collection. I've played it before at friends' houses and things like that, but never owned it for whatever reason. So definitely trying to jump on those scenarios where I've never owned a game before and get it added to the collection. And it is Street Hoops on the OG original Xbox, $2.97, complete in box, in very good condition, very clean. That's one thing that I try to do whenever I pick up games, wherever I can. I'm a complete in box pickup guy, especially with disc games. A little bit harder with the older stuff. But yeah, I try to find the cleanest that I can for the cheapest that I can and the most complete as I can. And this is a fun one. If you never checked it out, look it up. And it's a good one to add to your collection as well. All right, we're still in the month of January, shortly after that Lukey Games order. Actually, the next day on January 25th, I'm doing what I do, scouring through eBay, looking for deals. And man, I'm a sucker for old school Sega Genesis, that era, Super Nintendo basketball video games. That's what I grew up with my childhood. And this game right here is a game that I've had a cart-only version for as long as I could remember. So when I see a complete in-box version, in good condition at a good price, I'm going to scoop it up. And that's NBA Hang Time on the Sega Genesis. What a game. Awesome times playing this one. This is complete in box. I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but remember the old cardboard boxes and the Sega Genesis. Got to be careful with these ones and protect them. But the card is clean, the box is clean, the manual in there is clean. Pick this up for $15.87, which is a pretty solid price for complete in box and a good one to add to the collection. So finally, out of the month of January, starting over in February, on the 1st, another eBay purchase for $7.36. Man, I won a lot of NBA Jam games this year in 2024, at least that style of games. NBA Jam on the Nintendo Wii. Of course, I much prefer playing the On Fire edition on PS3 or Xbox 360. But again, another game I didn't have for the Wii yet, and pretty cheap at $7. $7 and some change. It is complete. The case is a little jacked up, but that's okay. Replacement cases, I could switch everything over. And this one does let you play with the classic controller as well, which does make it a bit more tolerable compared to the games that were just motion-only controls. So NBA Jam on the Wii, added to the collection in 2024. So that was the only purchase in February. Then we get to March 18th. Sega Genesis, another Sega Genesis game added to the collection. This one is not a cardboard box. It's a hardcover game. It is NC Final Four Basketball. This game is a game that I owned on the Super Nintendo, but a cart-only version. Didn't have it on the Sega Genesis. And again, I'm a sucker for clamshells and and all that. This game isn't in the best shape. You can see it kind of has some stickers on it, no manual, a little bit of marker there on the front, but that's, I can get that off, and stickers, that'll take a little bit more work, but got to add a manual to this down the road at some point whenever I can pick one up for cheap, to have a complete in-box copy, a couple stickers on there as well from the previous seller. But NCAA Final Four basketball added to the collection. So after NCAA Final Four basketball was added to the collection, took a little bit of a break for a couple months. Again, got to consolidate, spend money wisely when adding games to the collection. And but man, I found a good one in June. Again, another eBay purchase. I think the rest of them along the way are eBay. NBA 2K12 Game of the Year edition on the PS3, featuring the Legends Showcase. Unfortunately, no Legends poster, but besides that, it is complete with manual and disc in great condition. I was shocked at how low I was able to get this for. Got it for $5.67 on eBay. This is one of those things where I remember I bid on it and there was still like 4 days left on it. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to grab this for this price. It was a 99-cent, starting auction, and the rest was shipping, and nobody else bid on it. So I was able to scoop this up on the cheap. Great one to add to the collection. And man, Legend Showcase was a great time. So after adding a PS3 title to the collection on the 4th of July, scouring eBay once again and found another one that I never thought I would have in my collection. And to be honest with you, didn't really have plans of going import games. But again, I'm a sucker. If I see a cheap basketball game in good condition, complete in box, I'm going to grab it. So what I grabbed is NBA Tonight 2002 on the PS2. This is the Japan version. Remember when Konami used to make basketball games? Yeah. NBA 2 Tonight 2002 added, complete in box. Look at that disc, the blue disc. Man, looking sharp. Now, I will admit I haven't been able to play this one. I don't have a Japanese PS2. I'm sure there's ways around it. Just really haven't spent a ton of time researching how to play Japanese games on a North America console, or what I need to do that. If you know how to do that, hey, drop me a comment in the comment section. That would help me out. This is a game that I do want to play and spend some time with in 2025. And there's other, Japanese release games of PS2 version basketball games and stuff like that I might start looking into, especially if I can nab them for as cheap as $5, like I did this one off eBay. Next up, in the month of July, still added another cheap Xbox 360 basketball game to the collection. This is another one of those games that I've had on the PS3 forever, and now just trying to catch up on the 360 end. NBA 2K14, great game. LeBron on the cover on the Miami Heat. It is complete in box, in okay condition. The case, I've seen better cases, but this is a great game. And this was actually part of a 4-game lot that came with 4 Xbox 360 games. It was, I think, Devil May Cry 4, a racing game, and an Assassin's Creed game. And I got the whole lot for $6.50. So when I do the math and divide that by 4, picked up NBA 2K14 for $1.62. Not too bad for a complete and copy. Sticking with Xbox 360, jumping to the month of October. A college basketball video game added to the collection. Man, I miss college basketball video games. I really hope they make a comeback here soon. Keep hearing whispers about it, but we'll see. NCAA 07 March Madness on the Xbox 360. Complete copy, manual and disc in great shape. Back cover in great shape. Added this game for $5.37 off eBay. Next up, in the month of November, only one purchase. It wasn't one I was expecting to make, but was pleasantly surprised to add to the collection. We have a PC big box game. If you grew up in the 90s, you know all about PC big box games. There's just something about them. They look so great on a shelf. And it was just a different time playing games on a PC versus a console. NBA Inside Drive 2000. This game here is brand new. It's still sealed. The box has a little bit of a bend at the very top, but other than that, this is in great condition. And in a future video, we'll do an unboxing of this, a playthrough, maybe a review and stuff like that. I want to try to do more stuff like that in 2025. Just bring in more content, different type of content for you guys. What's funny though about this one is it's actually not my only copy of NBA Inside Drive 2000. And believe it or not, both of these are brand new and sealed. I by no means am a sealed collector. I buy basketball video games and video games in general to play. But when I see stuff for a great deal, I'm going to go ahead and nab it. This version I purchased, I think, in 2023 for $20 off eBay. I haven't opened it yet because I thought it was kind of cool to have a sealed big box game. And then when I came across this one, in November, I got this for $10 off of eBay sealed. There was no way I was going to pass that up. Now I have two of them, and now I can open one of them and leave one of them brand new unopened on the shelf. So we'll be taking a closer look at this game. Started off the series that was Xbox exclusive. 3 games came out on the original Xbox when Microsoft was back in the basketball video game world. And a pretty beloved series, but if you were on a PlayStation or Nintendo, you weren't rocking Xbox, or on your PC, you didn't know anything about this series. So great addition, and I'm looking forward to firing this one up on the PC. Next up in the month of December, on December 11th, another eBay purchase for $10.38. We have Double Dribble, the playoff edition. So, Double Dribble, playoff edition, man. The NES version, the arcade version, classics. And this version, not the best. I wasn't really a fan of the jump, the jump animations. Whenever every time they make a pass, they jump in the air. And other than that, I mean, it looks great, but there's just some wonkiness to it. But hey, that's 90s video games for you. Another Konami basketball game, by the way. Now this one, I had the cart originally for a long time. This purchase was just for the case and the manual. And complete in box, this game goes for $25, $30, $35. So picking up the case and manual, both in great condition, for a little over $10 was a great score. And I'm glad to finally own a complete in box version of Double Dribble, the playoff edition, on the Sega Genesis. Now, that was the 15th game. The 16th game, I kind of went a little bit out of order with this one, but this is a digital game, so I have nothing really to show you. But NBA 2K25. I went ahead, I pre-ordered it, I picked it up. I actually skipped out on NBA 2K24, was playing NBA 2K23 for quite a while, and didn't pick up NBA 2K24. Just didn't want to spend the money, didn't see the need. Had plenty of other games I needed to get to, but also at the same time, I had that itch to get the new game, drop the money, spent a bunch of time with it, but, probably like most of you guys, not really playing 2K25 anymore. But I do own the digital version on my Xbox Series S. And, hey, glad to have it in the collection. Updated rosters, some new features from 2K23. It is a different game. I do see the differences between the two games, but digital only version. So after adding all of those games to the collection this year, there is one more pickup that I added, and I saved it for last on purpose because it's not a basketball video game, but it's a hell of a novelty item to add to the collection, which is now the center of my collection, and is how I play most of my basketball video games now, at least the old stuff, the retro stuff. It is a hands-free basketball TV. This is one of those purchases, again, I was not by any means expecting to make. To be honest with you, didn't even know that a TV like this existed. But this company called Handspree back in the early 2000s supposedly made all sorts of different styles of TVs, mostly sports theme driven. They had basketball TVs, football TVs, baseball TVs, so on and so forth. And I came across an eBay listing, and I saw a TV like this, and they wanted like $150 for it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. But when I started researching it and understanding, what this even is, I was starting to, be on the lookout for it, right? Set up that alert on eBay to get notified if any more come up and at a decent price. And wouldn't you know it, back in October, this guy popped up on eBay and was able to snag it for $38.70. Most of that was shipping. I think I got it for 18 something, and the other $20 was basically shipping cost. And it's a 15-inch TV. The basketball, like the TV actually feels like a basketball. It's an NBA championship TV, so on the back of the TV, it has all the championships up until 2003, 2004, the Detroit Pistons. So just, man, what a find to add to the collection. And it's one of those things where I'll do a full review video on this and show some highlights of it and gameplay and stuff like that. It's again, not something I expected to add, but hell of a find and add to the collection. So in total, what did I spend on basketball video games in 2024? Minus NBA 2K25, okay, because that's a digital game. I'm not going to count that one because I think I used gift cards for most of that anyways that I had. So just counting all the physical games and the TV, spent a total of $133.84. Got some bangers, added some nice games to the collection, and I'm pretty happy with what I was able to add and for the price. And I'm looking forward to 2025 and seeing what games I can continue to add to the collection. So how did I do in 2024? Let me know in the comments section. How many of these games have you heard of or played before? Or what games did you add to your collection in 2024, or games that you're hoping to add in 2025? If you made it to this far in the video, want to say a huge thank you and ask that you consider dropping a like and subscribing for more basketball video game content just like this. Until the next time, make it rain.